whenever. Welcome back to our podcast, Eligible In, where we feature eligible guests that you can date. My name is Coco, and I am your host for this episode. And today we are introducing Simone. As always, if you enjoy the conversation, please follow us on social media and be sure to subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform so you're notified when new episodes drop. Hello, Simone.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Just trying to get through the Chicago winter.
I understand.
Okay, so we're here to showcase you. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. Just basic name, if you want to share occupation, astrological sign if you're into it, whatever you want.
I'm Simone. I'm originally from Woodridge, Illinois, but I currently live in Chicago. I'm a pediatric ICU nurse. So I work 3 12-hour shifts a week doing that. And I'm a Taurus.
Okay, amazing. My mom was a PICU nurse, so I have a very special place in my heart for PICU nurses. I have a feeling I probably know where you work. And you said you're from Woodridge, Illinois. Nice. So always been around the suburbs, city kind of girl. When did you move to the actual city?
Yeah, so right after college, I actually moved to Memphis for a job. So I lived
Okay.
there for about a year, but I didn't love living there. I like made some great friends, have some great memories there. But then I came back in 2023.
Okay. Nice. And you love Chicago so much, or do you
Yeah, I
feel
miss
like
Chicago. I did
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
So
it's the
I came
best.
back. It is. You can't beat it.
Yeah. I feel like some people it's a toss up with people who are actually born here. I feel like some people are like, I just want to see something else at the very minimum. And then there are people like you who are like, no, I'm good. Like Chicago is great.
Yeah.
So how has dating been in Chicago? Did you do any dating in Memphis? Were there any kind of stark contrasts that you found between dating in Chicago versus Memphis? Not at all.
I feel like for me personally, dating, I didn't date much in Memphis. I was kind of like focused on getting acclimated there. And it was like my first job out of college. But I will say, like, comparing my friends from Memphis versus my friends from here, a lot more of my friends from Memphis are like married or engaged versus my friends from here.
Mm,
But I feel like for me personally, dating was not starkly different between the 2 cities.
yeah. How has I think I can maybe guess how dating has been going if you're on our podcast, but just for the audience, how is dating in Chicago?
It's interesting. I feel like when you're in a big city, it can just be hard to even just like make friends and find like meaningful connections that way. And I think that can also be an issue with like dating as well. I think a plus is like there are a lot of people and there's lots of different like events and things going on, which is cool.
Mhm.
But overall, I'm trying to put myself out there, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Your answer is very similar to many of the people that we have interviewed. Also, being from around this area, have you ever like run into people that you know? Like, is that maybe a common occurrence? Like, if you're scrolling through apps or whatever, you're like, oh, I went to high school with that person or something like that.
Weirdly enough, yes. Like, on occasion, sometimes I'll see someone from, like, my hometown or someone I knew from college, and I'm like, "Oh, this is, like, weird."
Yeah, it's like, it's, yeah, seeing them in a whole like completely different light, in a completely different environment, I should say, it can be a little strange. But yeah, it's always funny when I see people on dating apps that I know. I'm like, I like them just to be like, "Hey, like,
Yeah.
we're both here, like, doing the thing." But some people are like, "No, I would absolutely not, like, let people know that." Let's see. You think so in terms of just, like, using the apps versus, like, meeting people in real life, and also just kind of, like, building a sense of community and relationships? Because I know you said, obviously, as an adult, it just gets kind of hard to make those relationships. Do you have you had any success with meeting people like at bars or at events? Do you have you found it's hard even with a being in a city that you're familiar with, finding that community and like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think for me at least, I went to college here, I went to Loyola. So
Mhm.
I've always had like a few good friends here in the city that have stayed. But I think despite Chicago being a large city, I think a lot of people kind of hold on to a lot of like hometown or college friends,
Mm,
especially people that maybe aren't like from here too. They might kind of hold on to that like group of people. And I feel like it can be hard to branch out as you get older and like people move and change jobs and whatever. I think for me at least, I've tried like 222, which is like an app that will like group you with it uses like an algorithm to group you with people that have like similar likes and interests. And then you like go to like a dinner or an event. And then at the end, like all the 222 like tables meet at like a bar or like another event. And then you can mingle with like all those people. And I have been able to, like, make some friends from that, and I think it's a good way to kind of, like, get out of your shell and, like, try some new things. So, yeah, I've done that and found, like, some success.
yeah, I think one of our other guests, I know at least one, if not a few, have used, I think, that same app, and they said they really liked that, that process of, like, being put with people already, so you kind of already have those foundational interests. But, yeah, it seems like a good process. Like, how do you find building a community? Again, like, you're familiar with the city and you have these few friends, but do you feel like that also, like being in community with people, like the difficulty of that also kind of bleeds into finding people to go on dates with?
I think it can. I feel like, uh, I'm only 25, and I feel like COVID, like, did a number on, like, my generation and, like, our formative years and our ability to, like, socialize and, like, be good friends to each other, and I think, you know, it can be hard to, like, keep a community, and it can be hard to, like, maintain those friendships. People get busy, people, enter into, like, serious relationships or marriage, and your friendship looks different. So I think it's hard, um, but I think everyone could put in a little more effort into their friends.
Yeah. No, I would definitely agree. I Again, this is a conversation I've had with multiple people that we've had on the podcast of like it's very clear to me that people are desperate for community. Um, but they want it's like they want the benefits of community. Have you found any community like through your coworkers? Just obviously, I know the healthcare system is also going through it at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like a couple really good work friends, and then some people that I met through work and don't work there anymore that I've still like stayed in touch with.
Mm.
And I'm involved in a lot of like equity projects at work, so I've like made some friends through that. I have a mentor who I'm like pretty close to, who's definitely like a big reason why I stayed at my hospital. So yeah, I definitely have some community at work for sure, which is nice.
Nice. Are there any hobbies you have or like anything that you like to do to decompress after a 12-hour shift?
Yeah, I'm a big music person. So I'm like, I always have my headphones in. I love going to concerts. I'm a big reader. I was eyeing your bookshelf in the
Oh,
background.
yeah, I've got I'm like, quite literally surrounded by books in this room.
No, I love that. So I'm a big reader. I like to cook. I like to try new restaurants. I like to travel. And I like to work out. And that's probably about it.
Nice. Have you gone to any good, like, concerts recently? Are you, like, more of a, like, when it comes to concerts, more of, like, mainstream, like, SZA comes into town, Doechii or whoever, or do you stick to local bands? Is it a mix?
I would say I usually stick to smaller-ish artists. I saw the last concert I went to, I saw Leon Thomas. He was here in Chicago and the tickets were only like $40 and it was a great show. About a year ago, Clairo was here at the Salt Shed. I went
Mm,
to that show and that was really good. I will occasionally go to Lollapalooza and like see some of those bigger artists. I think the cool thing about Chicago is you can see these smaller people before they blow up. And then when they're like a big artist, you can be like, I saw them years ago for $30 and it was
right.
great.
Right, exactly.
So yeah.
Are you reading any books currently? Anything that's really pulled you in?
Okay, yes. I just started All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I've read any of his books. I read King of Ashes at like the end of last year and I like could not put it down.
Mhm.
So this is the next one I'm reading, and so far it's really good. He writes like a good mystery thriller type.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the Bookstagram side of Instagram and TikTok, and I don't think I go a day on there without seeing something about S.A. Cosby. I have not read any of his books, but I've heard King of Ashes is a really big one that people love. Razorblade Tears is another one that people are recommending all the time. I gotta get on the S.A. Cosby train soon.
Yeah, they're turning a bunch of his books into like shows and movies, so you gotta hop on
Yeah,
before
that makes
you can't
sense.
get the books anymore from the library.
Right, right, yeah, and before they turn the covers into, the show covers. Is that a what are some, like, bookish points of contention for you? Any bookish hot takes?
Bookish hot takes. I guess I don't like when they turn the movie cover
Mm,
like into
mhm,
the OG cover.
yeah,
'Cause sometimes I think like the adaptation isn't very good, and I'm like, "Why are they on the cover?" I'd say I don't know, I think some authors are just kind of, like, overrated. I think, like I know I've read a lot of, like, book talk books, and I'm like, "I thought that was terrible." Like, I don't
mm,
know, like, got so much hype, and I thought it was boring or whatever. I guess those are my only, like, bookish hot takes, I guess. I don't like when people don't use the library.
mm,
And
right,
I don't like when people go to Barnes& and Noble instead of going to, like, local bookstores. I'm, like, very sad about all these Barnes& and Nobles that are opening up in the city.
mhm,
It's, like, making me very sad.
yeah.
Um, because I think they're building, like, 2 more this year.
Yeah, they just opened one in Hyde Park, and there is a woman who has, kind of this event she does called Circulate. So, this past Sunday, they did, like, a Circulate event at my favorite Black-owned bookstore, which is in Hyde Park, just down the street from the new Barnes& and Noble, called Call and Response,
I
and
love
they
that
just
bookstore.
Yes, yes, I love them so much. Courtney and Tamara are great. So, shout out to anybody in Chicago, go Love Bomb. Call and Response, and all of the indie bookstores in Hyde Park.
Yeah, I like memoirs a lot. I do like romance books. I'll read, like, any type of romance. And then, like, contemporary fiction, like, I like Kristin Hannah, Jodi Picoult, stuff like that. That's about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good variety of
Yeah.
genres. I'm a big romance girly as well. Love the romance genre. Let's see, what else? Oh, you mentioned travel too. Are
Yes.
there any other places, or I should say, are there any places, that you've been to recently? Have you traveled with a partner before? Would you want to travel with a partner? I feel like traveling with somebody that you're dating can be like a great litmus test for how the relationship might go.
Oh, yeah. I've never traveled with a partner, but I definitely want to. I think you're right. I think that's like a good test of like the personalities and how you guys kind of work together.
Mhm.
Recently, I went to Charleston at the end of last year for a bachelorette trip. I'd never really been to like that part of the US,
Mm.
and I thought it was really fun. It was beautiful outside. I had great seafood, got to see like some really cool architecture. I had a good time there. A couple years ago, I went to Spain and Portugal with some friends, and that was a really fun trip as well. We went to Barcelona and Mallorca in Spain, and then Lisbon and Porto in Portugal. And that was a great trip too, lots of fun.
What are some things that you generally look for in a partner, or things that maybe you didn't realize were gonna bother you in a relationship until you were in one?
I feel like green flags are someone who's like kind, someone who listens and is like understanding. Someone that like is ambitious, has goals. Definitely. I'd say definitely something that I look for too is like kind of who their friends are. Like if I don't like their friends, that can kind of be like a red flag to me. Because it's like if these are the people you choose to like spend time around, I feel like I should also like them as well. I think that's about it. Yeah.
What are you kind of touched on like things you look for in a partner and kind of values. What are things or like life goals that you have that you want your partner to align with? Like, are there any like really hard line things of like, I want to have 5 dogs and like I need to be with somebody who wants 5 dogs?
That's a good question. I'd say I'm definitely someone that wants to like settle down. Like I eventually want to like say, "Hey, this is where we're staying," and like hopefully like buy a home. I'm not someone that wants to like be moving around a lot. That's just like not really my thing.
Hmm.
If we want to be like married one day, I'm not like necessarily for or against. I like dogs and cats, not as much though. But like I never really grew up with one, so like if I didn't have one, it's not the end of the world. If they had one, like it's fine. And those are probably like yeah, my major things.
Do you think when you were talking about settling down and not moving, do you envision yourself staying here in Chicago or like the surrounding area? Would you want to move away? Because I'm assuming you probably have family here, at least some family. So, like, how important is staying in Chicago for you?
Yeah, I definitely prefer to stay in Chicago or in the surrounding area. But I wouldn't be opposed to moving. But yeah, I definitely like prefer to stay.
Yeah. Is there anywhere that was like, if you had to move, you'd be like, fingers crossed here?
No place comes to mind.
Mm,
I love Chicago so much, but I think if anything, I'd wanna move somewhere warm. Like, if I'm not gonna live in Chicago, like, maybe somewhere in California, like the San
yeah.
Diego area, or, like, the other way, like, living in, like, Georgia, North or South Carolina, but if I'm gonna leave Chicago, like, I need some sunlight, like, I need
Yeah. For sure.
a
Yeah, I was
consolation prize.
yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how important are, seasons for you? But you answered my question. I was gonna say, I feel like that is kind of the answer a lot of people go with. It's like, I wanna be somewhere sunny.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
These winters are too much sometimes.
They are.
People are always like, what do you do, in Chicago? It's so cold and all this stuff." And I was like, "Well, you see all of the bars on the neighborhood corners? Like, that's what we do. We just drink our sorrows." Although I feel like there are, like, a comparable amount of dispensaries around the city now too, so it's like, you don't even have to go out, you can just, like, get high and stay inside. So, when you're dating somebody or when you're in a relationship, what are the things that you need to feel seen and valued?
I would say someone that is mindful of just like my time.
Mm,
So just like being mindful of like plans, mindful of kind of like what I'm doing. I work 12-hour night shifts, which can be like a pain to my loved ones because I am normally sleeping when they're awake and I'm normally awake when they're sleeping. I work weekends, I work holidays. So it's just like someone that is like understanding of that and like understanding the fact that like I work, 3-hour 12 hour shifts on my feet, which is can be like very draining. I would say someone that is like kind and mindful of like my friends and family, just because obviously those people are very important to me. I would say, yeah, someone that's a good listener, someone that is honest and genuine.
yeah. Oof, night shift is rough. I worked in a hospital for a few years as a tech, and, I was a day shift girly, but my mandatory weekends, I did night shifts, and it was God bless y'all who can do it on a regular basis because it killed
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Did you did you choose a night shift by choice, or is there something you like particularly about working the night shift, or was it just kind of like a seniority thing at work?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination.
Mm,
There is like a significant pay difference between night and days, being that, like, you get night differential.
yeah.
I really like the people on nights. It tends to be, like, a younger, kind of chiller crew, which is, like, always fun. It's just kind of like what I'm used to. I've been working nights for over 3 years now. I'm just kind of, like, used to it.
Mm,
I can always eventually, like, rotate or go to days, but for right now, I'm, like, on the night shift train, so, yeah.
yeah. What I know you kind of touched on this, but are there any other things about night shift that you like? I know like the hospitals are typically less busy, because visiting hours are over. Yeah, what else do you like about night shift?
To be honest, like, waking up at 5 in the morning is not easy either, and so I always tell people, like, it's easier to wake up at 5 p.m. than it is to wake up at 5 a.m. I was kind of used to nights. You have more time to focus, there's less, like, interruptions,
Mm,
'cause a lot of the other kind of, ancillary staff, like PTOT, speech, they aren't there, so they aren't bothering, like, you or your patient, but during the day, they're all there, like, all the time. It can be less busy. On the flip side, you have less help at night, less resources.
mhm.
But, yeah, I've just kind of stayed on nights with my crew, and so far it's working for me, but it won't be forever.
Yeah. Is it in again, you touched on this a little bit when you were talking about what you need to feel seen and valued, but is it important to you that your partner also work in healthcare, or do you want someone who works in something completely different?
I actually prefer for them to not work in healthcare. I feel like one is enough in a relationship.
Fair.
So, I wouldn't be opposed if they were, but it's not something I kind of, like, look for, I guess.
Sure.
But, yeah, I'd almost prefer for them to do, like, literally anything else.
Do you wanna give the people your Chicago food tour Rex?
Sure.
Is there somewhere that you've, like, wanted to go where you're like, "Ooh, this would be, like, a great" maybe not first date spot, but even, like, second or third date spot, anniversary spot?
And I guess I have a few favorite spots in the city for sure. I love High Five Ramen in West Loop.
Mm,
It's probably my favorite ramen place. I think that's a good place for a date. It's really cute. It's below Green Street Meats, like the barbecue place. If you like, there's like
okay.
these little stairs.
Yeah.
It's a really small spot, but it's really cute. I love Cleo's soul food place that recently opened up here in Lakeview. They have a location in Hyde Park and then in
Mm.
South Loop as well. Really good food. I would say, what other places do I like? Ragadan in Uptown. It's like a kind of like Mediterranean fusion place. Really good food. The owner is like from Uptown, like lived here for 30 years and was like, what if I could walk to work? And like opened up this really cute restaurant.
Yeah.
And they have a baklava milkshake that I would die for. It is so good.
That sounds
Really recommend.
so good. I
Yeah.
unfortunately I have a very severe cashew and pistachio allergy. So I think the baklava milkshake is out for me because I know they use nuts in that. But for other people, please go enjoy.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of that ramen spot again?
High Five Ramen.
We've already established we both love books. We're book girlies. So it's going to be book related. I'm just going to it's just going to be very similar to what we've been doing, having conversation, talking about books and how they relate to dating and life. So I'm going to just give you some prompts and then you can say as little or as much as you want.
Okay.
There are quite a few, but we can again, there's no rush. Okay, so the first prompt, our first bookish prompt is well, you've actually already said it. It's your current read, and then but this part is there anything about the protagonist or their journey that resonates with you and your own life?
Ooh,
And I was just thinking like
say.
mystery thriller. I'm like, I don't know, that could be intense.
I would say the main character in All the Sinners Bleed, he's a police officer and he's working in his hometown and there's like I don't know, it's like there's like some drama going on.
Mm,
But I would say, like, similar to me, like, he definitely feels, like, close to his family and, like, his hometown and feels, like, not obligated to them, but cares about them and wants to protect them. And I would
mm.
say I care about my home base and my community the same. So, yeah.
Great answer. Love that. Okay, second prompt is the relationship arc. So, like, whatever your favorite love story is, what makes the relationship compelling to you, and what does it reveal about what you value in relationships?
Say one of my favorite romance books is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. And it's a weird like premise, but basically they share this flat and the guy works night shifts, so he like takes the bed during the day. Then the girl works a 9 to 5, she takes the bed at night, and so they like never see each other,
Mm,
but they like eventually cross paths and fall in love, and it's really cute.
that
Um,
is an interesting. I like that. I always love what kind of sticky situations romance authors can put people in.
no, I love that book so much. But I would say the male main character is like very patient with the female main character,
Mm,
and that's something I value in a partner.
for sure. Yes, patience is definitely a good value to have in a partner. Okay, next prompt is the character you date. If you could date any character from a book, who would it be and why? And what qualities do they have that you're drawn to?
It's another good one. I would say the I forget his name, but the main guy in Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood.
Mm.
Very caring, very smart, takes initiative. Yeah, so I would say that's like my dream man in there.
Is that the one? I've only read one Allie Hazelwood book, and it wasn't that one. Is that the one? Are they both kind of like in the science
Yes,
realm?
so all of her books have a very similar premise where basically
Yeah.
like both the main characters are like either like professors or engineers or chemists or
Mhm.
something. Love Theoretically, the girl is like a TA and the guy is like a higher up professor position and she's trying to apply for a job that like he's interviewing for.
Mm,
Like, he's, like, part of the interview process, the premise of that book. She has, like, type 1 diabetes, and there's, like, other stuff in it.
okay. Yeah, I knew that was like Allie Hazel's
Yeah.
thing is like women in STEM and stuff like that. Okay. Next prompt is the red flag read. So books that like seem romantic, but actually maybe kind of toxic or problematic. What's a relationship that people romanticize that you see red flags in?
This might be a hot take, but, like, any Colleen Hoover book.
That's not a hot take. That's just, yeah, I don't read. I've never read Colleen Hoover and I don't plan to.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend, but yeah, I think, like, all the relationships in those books are, like, toxic, and I just, like I'm like, "Nothing about this is romantic." Like, I don't understand.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's, like, a red flag read.
Yeah. Okay. Next prompt is the coming of age moment. Many books have that pivotal moment where the protagonist realizes something crucial about themselves or their life. Have you had a coming of age moment in your own dating or relationship journey? And what did you learn?
See the book Ma'am, by Jessica George. I don't know if you've heard of or read
Mm-mm.
it. But basically, to summarize, it's about a young woman who, like, lives at home until she's 25. And she's taking care of her father who's quite sick, and her mom's, like, MIA, like, in another country, not really involved. And she decides she's gonna move out and, like, be independent and, like, live her own life. It's a really good book, and she just kind of realizes, like, she's never had her first kiss, she's never been on a date, and, like, all her friends are out doing stuff, and she's like, "Okay, like, I'm gonna put myself out there." And I think it's a really sweet story, kind of like a late bloomer type story where she's kind of, like, coming into herself, like, in her mid-20s. I would say I don't know that I've really had, like, a coming of age moment myself, but I do feel, like, more secure in myself and more clear about, like, what I want, like, in a relationship versus, like, my younger self.
Yeah, definitely. You learn a lot of things in your 20s for sure. Okay, next prompt is genre of your love life. If your dating life was a book, what genre would it be right now? Romance, comedy, mystery, literary fiction, thriller, hopefully not thriller, maybe in that sense. So yeah, what genre would it be and why?
Say right now, maybe literary fiction. I would
Okay.
say my dating life, it's a little dry, it's a little slow, but I'm hopeful that it will pick up.
No, I'm laughing because I can hear all of the literary fiction people, like, grabbing their pitchforks, but no, I'm with you. I'm like,
It'll pick up like literary fiction does. It'll get better.
"Oh my god, that's hilarious." I love that answer. Sorry, lit pick people. There is a bit of truth to that one, unfortunately. Alright, next one is the villain and the flawed character. In books, there's a difference between a villain and a flawed but redeemable character. How do you know the difference in real life dating when someone is flaw is a part of their complexity and when is it a deal breaker?
That's a good question. One book that does come to mind is Queenie. Have you ever read that book?
I started to read it and I also started to watch the show, but didn't finish either. But I know the vibe you're talking about.
Okay, I would highly recommend you finish that book.
Okay.
It's like one of my favorites ever. Also, I think the adaptation is actually really good.
Okay. Good to
So I
know.
would watch that after you finish the book for sure because I
Okay.
think it's like
Okay.
pretty
I'll get around to it then.
yeah, pretty on par. But I would say that character, like, definitely flawed, but it's pretty obvious, like, she has her own issues. And I feel like you start the book and you think it's gonna be like this cute kind of romance. And then, like, halfway through the book, I'm not gonna spoil it, but she really starts like working on herself and like working through some stuff. And I think that's kind of what makes a difference between like a villain and someone who's flawed. I feel like someone that's trying to work on themselves, that is self-aware and is like, okay, I'm working on these things. I know it's a problem. Versus like, I feel like a villain is either like unaware of themselves
Mhm.
or they are aware and they just like don't care.
Don't care.
So, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, and I think that's like all of us have the potential to be a villain at one point or another simply because we are still learning and growing. And like, unfortunately, that's just kind of a part of life. Next prompt is the unreliable narrator. We're the unreliable narrators of our dating lives. We miss red flags or misread situations. Have you ever looked back and realized you were telling yourself the wrong story about a relationship?
I mean, yeah, haven't we all?
Yeah.
I think more so when I was younger, less now, but I think, just kinda, like, seeing what you wanna see, like, making excuses for them, whatever that might look like, but,
Yeah.
I think we all want things to work out, and sometimes we might ignore red flags or ignore things that maybe normally would concern us. But I think that's unfortunately part of dating is figuring how to, filter all of that. So not easy.
Yeah. And that's what friends are for. Because
Yes,
hopefully your
yes.
friends are being like, "Are you sure? Are you sure that's what's happening?" Yeah. Your friends, if you got good friends, they'll let you know when you're being delusional, and that's a good friend. All right, next prompt is the book that changed your perspective. Is there a book that actually changed how you think about love, relationships, or what you want in a partner?
I would say there's a book. It's called 10 Minutes and 38 Seconds Left in the Strange World. It's by Leaf Shafak.
Okay.
And to summarize but not spoil, it's about a woman. She's a sex worker and she is like, I'm not spoiling, it's like the first page. She's murdered and like left in an alley. And it's about like the 10 minutes and 38 seconds before like she loses consciousness and her
Ooh,
brain is going through like her entire life.
yeah,
And I think that is, like, an amazing book about community because, like, people in that society it takes place in Istanbul, like, overlook her, like, look down upon her, but you, like, realize she had, like, a rough childhood, but she, like, met all these friends, like, as an adult that, like, care so much about her and are, like, looking for her and are like, "Where is she?" And people think no one cares about her being left in this alley, but, like, they do, and it's just, like, such a heartwarming book. It's so, so good.
yeah. Wow, I was like getting emotional while you were
No,
explaining it.
I love that book so much. I never hear people talk about it, but it is, like, one of my favorites. It's so good. Everyone has to
Yeah,
read it.
I'm definitely getting on Storygraph and adding that one to my TBR. What kind of quote unquote ending are you hoping for in your own love story? Does it have to be the traditionally happy ever after?
Well, that's a good question. I feel like I'm someone that I'm open and I almost like an
Mm,
ending that's not traditional. When I love a happy ending, like of course, but I also think, I'm young and I feel like who knows what's in store yet, a
right.
lot could happen. But yeah.
Yeah, kind of second to last prompt. It is called The Theme. Every good book has themes it explores. If you think about your approach to dating and relationships, what are the themes and what keeps showing up?
Ooh, I would say I'm definitely someone who's open. Like I'm always open to trying new things, meeting new people. So I'd say that's a theme. I'd say determination. Definitely like a bit of a hopeless romantic. I know it's out there somewhere, like I'll find it.
Yeah,
And I would say definitely like loyalty. I'm just like very loyal to my friends and family. Like I'll always show up for them. They have always shown up for me throughout like my dating experience.
amazing. Okay, next one, last one, actually, last prompt is the plot twist. What would be your ideal plot twist in your dating life? The unexpected turn that changes everything in the best way.
It's a good one. I would say maybe like meeting someone unexpectedly or like when I'm not
Mm,
trying.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
would be like a plot twist.
Is there anything that comes to mind when you think of like an unexpected, like meeting somebody in an unexpected way?
I guess just like meeting someone I'm just like out and not like just like out running errands or something.
Yeah, just that like meet cute almost.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be my plot twist, I think.
nice. Okay, and then final question for you is if someone wanted to understand you better, your values, your perspective, your heart, what book would you tell them to read?
That is a good one. I would say, honestly, book, um, Crying in H Mart. Have you read that?
I've heard of it. I have not read it yet. Also one that I am planning to get to. But yeah, I've heard that one is deeply emotional.
I would say that book probably kind of represents me in a way. Summary, it's about a woman who's has, like, a rough relationship with her mom,
Mm,
and she gets sick with cancer, and she uses, like, cooking as a way to, like, take care of her, but also feel closer to her, and it is just such it's sad, but it's such a good book, and I feel like it kind of mirrors, like, me and my mom's relationship and, like, when I cook. Yeah.
yeah. That's I feel like if I feel like some of my bookish friends, like, if they heard that answer, they'd be like, "Oh my god," like, crying in H Mart. But I feel like, yeah, that I'm always so interested in seeing what people choose for, like, the book that they were like, "Read this, and this is what you will like, this is me," kind of thing. I like that a lot. And that's the conclusion of our bookish chat.
Alright.
Simone, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It was really wonderful getting to know you.
Thanks for having me, it was so fun talking to you, you were great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So that was Simone, everybody. If you would like to connect with Simone, please reach out on social media or email us at hello@eligiblein.com. Check us out on eligiblein.com and reach out to us if you want to be our next guest or if you'd like to nominate a friend to be a guest. We would love to have you on. Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at EligibleIn.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.